So now let's go on to a good news item. And I'm really proud of all the work that Jean and Phil have been doing on this Grand Canal Regeneration project.
Great. And it's actually been a great team effort, including our neighborhoods. So just to start off, what we're talking about is the Grand Canal Regeneration Project. We actually, this is a project update for our meeting January 7th. And I've just showed on this one quick map where our pilot area, where we wanted to focus. And what I want to point out is what we found. One of our team members, David, has gone out in his kayak and has discovered 27 other mini reefs already installed. In our pilot, we actually installed 23, 14 in our pilot area. So we took a concentration in this area, up at the mouth, the entrance and exit to the Grand Canal. We have a concentration now to look at. And we have 9 other new ones that ended up in different parts along Commonwealth and into the village, and then down in a little bit further down. So we're making progress. Now I'm going to talk about what exactly happened here. See if I make sure I get to the right slide. Okay, so whoops, let me go one more step. Okay, so we have started to put the locations on the map, and our next step is to look at grants and foundation support, and we'll be doing that during this month and next month. So one of the things I could ask of our members, if you have contacts or associations in this work area, in the foundations or grants, I certainly would like to get the contacts so we could talk to them about a project. And my email address for this is CSOC, ASSOC 1947 and gmail.com. So that's an email that you could use to get back to me. If you have any trouble with that, go to our website and find the project page, and you'll see that on there as well. So that's the next step where I could use some help. Now, I'm going to start this next piece, which is a little, oops, wrong one. I hit the wrong one. I meant, yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to do this. Okay, here we go.
That's the goal. But now, how does it work? David Wolf and his son brought a trailer full of these mini reefs to the northern tip of Siesta Key. He and his nonprofit, Oceans Habitat, have been involved in similar projects, just not in the Sarasota area. I spoke with him as he was getting ready to lower one of these mini reefs during the Phase 1 rollout on December 20th, 2020.
We have been looking for a long time, for years, for an opportunity to have a large-scale deployment in an area that needs a lot of help. And the Grand Canal is something that needs help. It's quite large, a lot of dock space, so it's something to show what the mini reef can do at a scale.
What do you hope to accomplish with this in terms of getting crustaceans, other fish in here?
We want to try to improve water quality as much as possible. And then primary thing is to get life in here again, to have more fish, shrimp and crabs like it used to, decades ago.
Many reefs that you bring up, could you describe them? What are they made of? Plastic is not too terrific when you put it in the water, but why is this different?
They're made out of polypropylene. That's the plastic that you're going to see dock pilings wrapped with at marinas, ports. It's used extensively because it holds up to UV radiation, doesn't get brittle and fall apart. Yeah. It holds up to salt water for about 500 years. It doesn't really shed microplastics for about 75 years, and it is recyclable. So it can be removed and actually recycled in the future.
Give me an idea of what happens after you put this mini reef in. What happens when you put it in the water?
What it does is it mimics the natural ecosystem you would have under a mangrove tree or in saltwater marsh grasses. So filter feeding animals like oysters grow on it. They live on it. What they do is they eat all the green stuff. We have too much of it in the water. Everybody calls algae. It's actually phytoplankton, but it also gives a place for young life, like just hatched fish, shrimp, and crabs. They can hide in there, and they can get a food source like they would naturally in those environments that we've lost due to coastal development.
This is a pilot project. What do you hope to do next? Are you going to watch this play out and then move to other areas?
We actually have almost 5,000 mini reefs in the water in the state of Florida. We're also in the Bahamas. We have a project that's on hold in Australia right now due to COVID. That's going to be kicking off once things open back up down there. So we're actually quite busy in a lot of areas. But here with the Grand Canal, what we want to do is continue to add units, like a large scale number of units under the docks, and show again, like at scale, what this can do in a big area, not just like what happened under one little dock.
I imagine that there are no other projects like this in the Sarasota area.
Not that I'm aware of. There's lots of things offshore that people do reef-wise. But as far as restoring nursery habitat, there's almost nobody on the planet doing that other than people who plant mangrove trees.
It's inconceivable to me that you can put animals in those mini reefs and that they could filter enough water to make a difference.
One unit, a mini reef, once it's fully developed, so it does take 6 to 9 months for animals to start to grow up to size, because it takes them a little while. But they will be able to filter on average 30,000 gallons of water a day. When we did our experiments, our range was between 18,000 and 105,000. It depended on what kind of animals actually lived on it, because they all filtered at a different rate.
Okay, now that was David. He's the inventor of the Mini Reef. And you'll notice on my picture here, the young man in the wetsuit, that's David too. And David too does the installing. His father throws them into him, and he goes ahead and hooks them up to the pilings, and they run on rollers, so they're able to float and move back and forth with the wave action. This is my team. There's Joyce putting on our bows, our red bows. You'll see Phil in the background there getting ready to do some work with his mini camera. And Dave here is taking the actual SKA disc readings for the clarity in the water. And again, here's Phil with his camera going down. The one person who's not in the picture was Paul, who did that wonderful little clip, the audio clip for me. All right, now we're gonna go next. All right, this was what we really did it for. Look at those happy people. These are people, our neighbors, that took the mini reefs in and had them put under their dock. And this went on from about 1 o'clock until 7 at night. You can see the lights were on when we were going around, and we really had a great time. And you can see people were happy about getting their mini reefs. So I wanted you to see that. The next step, what we've got next, now we're targeting, our next thing is to try to do 40 more installs. Now I say that because we've got 12 orders already, and we haven't even opened up for orders, so I've got 12. So we're gonna go after Heigl. We did part of Heigl, but we're gonna come down Heigl now, and we also wanna come a little bit more into Commonwealth. So we're gonna pick up some of the other sideways, like Waterway, and Primrose Path is over here, down this way. So Avenida de Norte is our southern point, but this is what we're gonna focus on. We'll be sending letters out, and both of us, all of us walk the neighborhood and contact neighbors, put flyers. And that's one of the things I could also use is help from the Siesta Key Association. I'm going to look for some of our members in these areas so they can help tell their neighbors about it. Those dock owners, it's really cool to be able to get to them and show them what this can do to their water. So we'll be canvassing the neighborhoods during the weeks of January 11th through the 22nd. Target date for the installs will be around the first week of February. That's what we're going to target for. All right. I'm going to one more slide. Okay, so the Grand Canal, if you're curious about the project, you can go to our website again, the Siesta Key website. You can click on the project page, and it's the Siesta Key Grand Canal Regeneration Project. And if you look at the last posting on the right side of the screen, you will see that we had a wonderful interview with ABC's Channel 7, WWSB Channel 7, and you'll see that we had that on January 1st. And then if you have any questions, you can email me again at Siesta Key Association, and it's ASSOC, not spelled all the way out, 1947 @gmail.com. Is there any questions?
Hey, Gene, I do have a boat. If you need to use it to like install some of these, we're welcome to it on like a Saturday morning or something. Just let me know.
I will. Thank you very much. Michael, we're doing some, you know what, I might have missed one of my slides. I have one slide here about our partnerships. I guess I must have missed it. Okay, well, I'll just talk to it quickly. We have 4 partnerships with our project. We have hooked up, there it is. We have hooked up with Ocean Habitats with David. You heard David talk about doing a concentrated area. This is in the second part. David Wolf and he wants to do a concentrated area. So we're going to hook up with him on doing the entire Grand Canal regeneration. And it's going to be more than just putting in mini reefs. It'll have other aspects to it. We also have added to our crew Florida Sea Grant agent Armando, and he's joined the team to provide us training on how to do the scientific measures and analysis. So they're going to be out in the canal in their kayaks doing that. And then finally, Sarasota County Public Works, Storm and Environmental Management, Phil's brought them into the project as well, and they're really engaged, providing good advice and support. So anyway, this is what we're doing, and that's my address. I missed that last slide. So thank you, Michael. Anybody else?
I was noticing as we were looking at the photo where you come along Heigl, that some of those canal pieces that are part of this whole Grand Canal system are very narrow. And you have little tiny tributaries that go through. So given the water flow problem, the fact that there's not enough exchange, how do you think this is? I mean, I noticed some of these on the map. These must be a great boost to helping when there's so little water exchange in some of those areas.
And you're correct. Well, it's one of the reasons why you heard me say that this isn't the total answer. The mini reefs will be a great, the whole point of what we're trying to do with the mini reefs is create juvenile sea life. So
right.
We're trying to get the crabs and the small fish, but of course we have to have oxygen and food for them to happen, for that to happen. And only one mouth and one exit, one entrance is not helping. We'll have to go to some aerators, some ways to create oxygen. And we'll be looking at some of the dog legs, the dead ends for those kinds of things to help do it. Now, Commonwealth should be pretty good to us because it's pretty wide and it's really close to where the mouth is. It's just that's why we're going to do Heigl as well. Now we can start to get a comparison on each side as to what's
wonderful.
happening.
Yeah. And so part of any help, if anyone was going to do a donation, even if they weren't donating specifically to get a mini reef, they could actually donate if they wanted to help with any costs of water sampling, water quality analysis, things like that along the way.
Thank you, Catherine. Absolutely. We're going to need, again, another camera, underwater camera. And we need one of those. I mean, we need a few things. We will need aerators eventually, but I didn't want to do that. We got our science back to actually tell us, what exactly we need where. So, but I know we could use we could use some money for some of the equipment we need. So that would definitely be of value. If you contribute $100, we'll let you put a mini reef, a name on a mini reef, because we have a couple of mini reefs that have been donated, and so we're ready to put some names on them. So if you contribute that much, then we'll put your name on it, and we'll be able to show you how it goes in the water and what it looks like. Okay?
That is exciting. Thank you, Joy. That's so wonderful. Joyce. Thank you, and Phil, too.
Thank you.
Joyce, you have a question?
I just wanted to say that you might add Oxford Drive because it's on the across the canal from Commonwealth to your next.
Right. Might pick that up. Again, we'll pick some of them up when we come down, but we're going to try to concentrate over on this side and then come down Commonwealth. We'll see how far. I have a few that have already come up in this area. Anybody that wants one, I don't care where they're located, we'll get it in. But I'm trying to concentrate on some of these areas so we can get some comparisons. That was the intent.
One of the things I was surprised about was learning that the length of the Grand Canal, 9 miles of waterways, is actually longer than Philippi Creek.
Right.
A lot of people have no idea that and how livable it really was for people to swim in about 30 years ago. And it was really nice and clear. So this will be a great big effort, and I'm really excited about it, Jean. It's just wonderful.
Thanks. I wanted to get that one big map we had there. Yeah. There's really our Grand Canal, and that's what it looks like. That's the 9 miles from the mouth all the way through, and you've got all these other areas. And so what we wanted to do is here's where we're really having trouble. There's very little water flow over here. So that's why we were trying to push a little bit on this side now to see what we can do so we can start to improve. We also have an action along El Norte, around the village. to see what we can do with this particular place as well. So
that's exciting, and it'd be fun to see how it grows and goes, as they say.
And I guess the other thing that really excited me was the fact that, you know, we found 27 in there right now, and there might be some more, but that's about what we found. And we were able to add 23. So our first attempt almost doubled the amount of mini reefs that are in there. So that's, I think, a good move.
True. Excellent. Thank you so much, Jean.